Well, welcome back to the Trackwork Show for our first in 2025 ahead of the Autumn Carnival. We just had a good look at Broadsiding, who we saw in a track gallop on Saturday as well. He trials this morning, but we thought what better place to come for our return to the Trackwork Show than the trials this morning as the stars step out. We have the Light Fingers this weekend, the Expressway Stakes, the Apollo, and of course the Piero for the 2-year-olds. We have all the latest from the connections. Welcome back to Trackwork. Well, Matt, a very busy week ahead for you. I want to touch on World Alliance and how he's come back, resumed in great order, and he is a pretty hot-headed horse, but he was quite good on Saturday.
Yeah, no, look, he's getting better. I thought he paraded probably as good as he parades, especially being first up. And he ran super. You know, he just probably missed his spot out of the gates and made it hard for him to win, but he was strong, really strong through the line, and he'll most likely go to Canterbury in a couple of weeks to that Sprint Series final, 1100. If we can get him in there, that'll be the ideal race, and then we can work out the prep after that. But he's come back super.
Well, he certainly has. Before we touch on your runners for this week, the other one I wanted to make mention of was Athel Flood. She was down to trial, but they've now been abandoned. We haven't seen her in a year. How is she?
No, she's great. Yeah, no, we've been rehabbing a tendon with her, and she's been in now quite a lot. She's had quite 4 or 5 preps, and looks great. So we were hoping to trial her this morning. Unfortunately, the weather gods have stepped in today, so look, we'll push her back to next week, but she's going super and we should see her at the races fairly shortly.
Well, we haven't seen her since she ran, second in a VRC Oaks, and it feels like that was a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
I know, she's a really exciting horse and not one we can afford to have on the sidelines, so hopefully now, with all the rehab we've done, and she looks great, hopefully we can get her back to the races shortly.
It'll be an exciting time. Now let's look to the weekend. You've got French Endeavour resuming.
Really good, really happy with her. Look, she's there, and she may run in some of those mare stakes races. We'll just see. But she's a quality mare. She stakes filly, and she's resuming. I can't fault her. Work's been great. So I expect a good run from her, but she'll just improve as we get into the preparation. Weight
of the Stars has been an eye catcher in his trials. Does he head down to Melbourne?
He does. He's going down to Melbourne Saturday for the Lightning. You know, hoping that we might catch a few horses just not quite up to the mark. He's ready to go. His work's been good. We're taking a bit of a shot at it, but he's entitled to. He's a fast horse and he'll get out and make his own luck. And look, we just thought we'd give it a go, and then he'd probably come back for the Challenge Stakes after that, which is probably ideal race for him second up.
You've had some success in Melbourne in the past as well, and I know this is something I've spoken to you about. You're not afraid to travel your horses to where they're best placed. Is that something that you'll continue to do?
Yeah, no, we've been big on travelling horses over the years, and especially when you can find the right races for them. Obviously Sydney's super competitive here, and quite often you can find races in other states that are just a little bit weaker. So look, we'll take a few more down. We're going to give Headwell a shot in the Oakley Plate Saturday week. You know, handicap conditions, lightweight. He'd be a horse that'd probably run really well, and then he'll come back to Sydney for something like the Challenge as well. So 2 good sprinters there heading down to Melbourne the next few weeks.
Just having a look at the noms you've got this week, whether it be at the trials or across New South Wales, heading down to Melbourne, you're a particularly busy stable at the moment.
No, we've got them all over the place, but we like to travel them and get them in where they got their best chance, and it's just about seeing opportunities and looking outside the square a little bit to find races that are suitable. So no, we'll continue to do that. It's been really successful for us over the years, so we'll continue to do that in the future.
Brave, time to talk about our favourite horse, Chaya Wolf. You brought him to the races on Saturday for a bit of a day out, and he looks so well, and you mentioned to me as well that he's heavier this preparation.
Yeah, no, he handled it really well. He's become a real professional now. Before he was still a bit of a kid, he'd play around a bit, but this prep he's really matured, and I think he's going to be a better horse. He's a bit bigger and stronger, so it's exciting.
Well, the writing's been on the wall in his trials as well. I'd imagine Chad's been hopping off and glowing with his review.
Yeah, no, he's been more than happy with him, Chad, but it's only our first up run Saturday. It's 1400. I think he's 3 goes for 1 placing first up. So he's a better horse, but I wouldn't be disappointed if he lost, but just expecting a good performance from Saturday.
Right. And you will be busy because you've got a couple of others. Actually, we'll touch on Marzu, who resumes in the Lightning as well, so he heads down to Melbourne.
Yeah, no, he's going really well. He's a great fresh horse. He's only had 1 trial, but we've put a fair bit of work into him, so he's well, he's fresh. He's had 1 run down the straight. He went really good in the Newmarket. I think he ran 4th, so we'll try down the straight again. I think it'll really suit it, and more than happy with him. Ben Mellon gets the ride and he'll suit him.
And then on Friday night, I want to ask you about Weeping Woman as well. You do have a stack of runners across the week, but Weeping Woman in particular, this mare by Lonhro, who's second up, and she was a bit of an eye-catcher there at Warwick Farm.
Yeah, lovely filly. A lot of time for her. Second up. First up, she didn't have much luck, caught wide, had a tough run, wide around the corner, and she still managed to find the line. I think second up at Canterbury really suited her, and she ran a huge race.
And we were just chatting off camera as well about Trail Wolf's little sister, a 2-year-old. How's she shaping up?
Yeah, really well. She's a nice filly. It's very early, so hard to say, hard to make too many bold predictions, but she's doing everything right.
Welcome back, Nash. We saw you resume there on the weekend in New Zealand with a win on Here to Shock. That was a great result.
Yeah, it was. Look, he's a horse that's both gained a bit of confidence throughout the prep together, really, and he went over there with his tail up and really showed what he was made of. Track with a little bit of cut out of it, but still, no worse than dead. And he surprised me the way he put him away. It was a good win, and I'm sure he can come back to Sydney and be very competitive.
We haven't seen you for a little while since Magic Millions when you dislocated your shoulder, and you were just telling me that it had popped back out. What's the recovery been like? Good,
yeah. No, it's sort of. You can't really take any shortcuts with it. I've had to work pretty hard at getting on top of it, and good support base around me with Liz Street and people like her. And look, it's I'm really happy with the way it is. Probably, if anything, I'm back a little bit sooner than I expected. But we'll sort of feel our way for the first week or so, and I'm sure. I'll be full of confidence with it in a couple of weeks' time.
And we might see you back on Friday night before Saturday too.
Yeah, I think 3 rides Friday night and 3 on Saturday, 3 or 4. And look, there was no rush to sort of get back and try and get full bulks. It was just sort of stepping stones and get my weight right and really looking forward to the rest of the carnival.
Tell you what, your weight will be right this morning after a good sweat here. Yeah. It's muggy.
Yeah, it is. It is nice weather, Sydney weather. So we'll have no problems with the weight. It just you don't want to rush it, that's all.
Yeah. One last one. I've got to ask you about NCAP, one of my favourites. How did you feel this morning?
Yeah, I couldn't have been happier with him. He sort of slowly ran heat, set off soft speed, and obviously when they sprinted, he went to drop the bridle and just sort of got him to come back up under me. And his last 100 was terrific. He plenty of horse under me, and he's one to keep an eye on. He's been a bit of a, I won't say bridesmaid, but a bit unlucky in a few of these better races, and touch wood, this might be his prep.
Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Ben, public attention was huge on the weekend. How's he come through?
Yeah, he's come through that run very well. He's nice and fresh. He was out on the track this morning. He was in the arena yesterday, popping over a few logs just to keep him busy, because he's a horse that after the race clears his wind very quickly, and his recovery, from gallops, trials, races, he's a horse that bounces through them pretty well. And they went a pretty good clip throughout that race. The early stages were sub-11s, and then they just worked home like horses that are going to appreciate a little bit further. But can't fault him, and he won't do a lot between races. We'll just let his races bring him on.
So do you enjoy doing a bit of different stuff with him at home? Do you sort of school him a bit, take him over the poles there in that flat work area at Rosehill?
Yes. If it was a gelding, he would be a lovely show pony, but he's not. He's a beautiful, big, strong colt that he just likes to be busy all the time. Like, he's very well behaved. He's got a great temperament on him, but he always needs to be doing something. He's not a horse that we tend to back off very much. So, light 10 minutes in the arena, popping over logs and just figure eights, keep his mind on the job. But he's grown up a lot in the last 6 months, so I think we all saw what he's capable of on Saturday, and then off to the Hobartville next.
Great, Hobartville then on to a Guineas.
Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, we've trained him for a mile, so whatever he did first up over 6 furlongs, he was going to improve on. And as I said, just let his races bring him on. He'll do a light piece of work leading into the Hobartville, and then again he's 2 weeks from first up to second up, and then 2 weeks into his target race, third up. So we've had him pretty well screwed down for first up, and then just let his races bring him on. Golden Path resumes in the Apollo? Yeah, he's a horse that actually goes well fresh. Obviously, he runs into some class animals in Via Sistina, Cheerwolf and the likes that are proven Group 1 horses over 1,400 metres, and again, they're going to get better with more racing this preparation. And he's very much a 10 furlong horse, and probably will see him step up to 1.5 miles this prep. We've always had it in the back of our minds that he'll get that trip, but it was just more a case of he was going very well at 10 furlongs, and he was an immature horse mentally. big, beautiful Kiwi-bred horse that's developed with time. I think he's going to be very effective once he gets over 10 furlongs and wet ground as well. He absolutely thrives on wet ground, so whatever he does first up on Saturday he's going to improve on, and we're coming into that time of year where the rain starts to come.
That's right, we can feel it around this week too. So let's talk now about Keitel. What are we going with there in the benchmark 88 on Saturday?
Everyone pronounces it differently, but I'm Keitel, and he's also in on Friday night as well. So he may go Friday night. We'll just have a look at fields, but he's a get-back run-on horse, so we've got a decision to make there, and he's also going to get a bit of weight on Friday night, so whether we go with an apprentice or a senior, that's still yet to be determined. But he's a horse that's going really well. He's won 5 races. He's done a job for us and the owners. And you've got to be careful where you place him. He's a good horse when the races suit him, but he needs a few things to go his way, but he's got an electric turn of foot when he turns up, and with the way he gallops, he galloped this morning. I thought he was very effective galloping with a nice 2-year-old of ours, so looking forward to getting him back to the races.
Unconquerable comes out of a placing there at Kembla. Will she back up this week?
I don't think she will. She ran very well, and I think she bumped into a genuine Saturday horse of Hawksy's there, but look, she's a mare that's done a bit of racing now. We're starting to get into a bit of a groove with her, and I think we may just give her an extra week between runs, and I think we might even step her up where she can control the race a little bit more over a 1300-1400 and try and break the field up coming into the straight.
You're running the Sydney stable up here, so we get to chat to you a little bit now. How are your 2-year-olds? Have you got many in work here in Sydney?
We do. We've got 3 or 4 in there of the Barna 16, and Space Rider just came back from Queensland off what was a disappointing run, but he enjoyed a couple of weeks in the paddock there, and he really freshened up. He's got a bit of a belly on him at the moment, so he'll probably step out at the trials either next Tuesday at Rosehill, or we'll wait a week and go to Randwick on the Monday. But we're thinking sort of Todman with him, but also he sort of looks like a sires horse and races like a sires horse, so we'll keep the Golden Slipper Dream alive, which we always like to do with these really nice colts. But if the Todman was to come up very strong, which it looks likely it will, we'll have him nom there, but he may also go to the Pago the following week. So it's sort of train the horse that's in front of us and make a decision off what he shows us at home.
Does a busy morning for you. We of course just saw Tom Kitten, broadsiding, Golden Mile. Broadsiding looks to be quite forward.
Yeah, top shelf there.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see these horses come back after a long spell or a hard spring, and they've come back in good fashion. So a lot to look forward to over the autumn.
Of course, big news with Golden Mile. He's back at Gelding now, but really his mind's on the job, and we saw that in his trial.
He was. It's a big transition again for them, but James gave him he had a trial, and then he gave him an exhibition gallop last Saturday at Randwick, and it really sparked him up. He come out of the gates like Scalacci or Black Caviar. No, he's feeling very well, a very happy horse. So he's still very big and gross. So he'll take good benefit out of those 2 trials, and debatable whether James gives him another trial, but he's certainly back on track.
Just exciting that we get to see him again, I think. Get to go and see him back at the races. Let's look then to the weekends. Dozy, who of course we last saw when she ran in a Melbourne Cup, resuming in the Apollo.
Yes, a lot of residual fitness, obviously running over the 2 mile, but her trials have been first class. That every rider all the riders that have been riding in the trials, they just very, very pleased with the way that she's attacking the line and feeling well. She strengthened up a lot. There was room for improvement as far as furnishing, and she's really developed over the hindquarters, which I think is going to really assist her. Obviously, there's nowhere to hide now in these weight for age races, but she's come back in great form.
It's a serious crop of weight for age horses too, isn't it? So it's just exciting to see what she can do.
Yeah, it's great for racing to have the Via Sustinas and the broadsidings and the CO Wolves and Zardozis. They're people that'll get people out of their lounge rooms and come out to the track.
Definitely gets me out of mine. You've also got Comedy possibly in the Piero or down in Melbourne.
Yes. Maybe a set of blinkers on him might help him. He was just a little bit lethargic in his trial, but it's not a bad way to be. You'd rather a colt be that way inclined, that he's nice and relaxed and conserving his energy. So Obviously, it's going to be a decent prep for him, hopefully. So he's starting off with a good base.
I'll just ask about Commemorative as well, whose trials have been great.
Yeah, she has. She was a little bit of a head case and a bit of a worrywart, but she's really. I have noticed a marked improvement in her demeanour and her acceptance of what's happening at the trials, and the way that she's racing or trialling. She's really containing herself, not wanting to overdo it. Whereas she was running through the bridle a bit too much last time in and times before. So the penny's starting to drop with her.